always wanted to do that.
Well, blow me down.
99, 99, 99.
And then Enzo says some Enzo bullshit.
Alphanumeric.
789.
Good to see you, sugar.
Mine is an evil laugh.
Are we still? Is this still happening?
I'll be in my bunk.
Happy fucking New Year, listeners, and welcome back to ALPHANUMERIC, the weekly podcast where we review every episode of ReBoot ever in order, starting from the beginning. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am another one of your hosts, NeoKal.
And I am the other host, AP.
And this week on ALPHANUMERIC, we are reviewing the first episode of the second season, Infected, which originally aired on August 31st, 1995. Before we get into that, though, as I said, Happy New Year to everyone. If you've been listening to this with us in real time, you'll know that we've been off for a few weeks because of all of the holiday festivities, but we're back and we're ready to get at it. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing okay. It's been a busy week, but I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Nice.
It's been rainy. It's been meh, but
Yeah.
interesting start to our southern neighbors in the United States have an interesting start to the new year as well.
That's a whole different episode.
That is, yeah.
I pray for their safety.
Most of our listeners are Americans, so my condolences to you for everything you're going through down there. Speaking of condolences, let's get started on the episode.
This will be fun. Okay.
So
Infected.
The episode opens with an aerial shot of the principal office. The sphere on the top of it opens up, and who do we see standing on a platform but Dot and Fong? Something's going on. We get
They're looking up.
bunch of establishing shots of various 1 and 0 binomes.
There's a family with a baby.
Yep.
There's Al's waiter.
The blue skies turn gold, and we get a voiceover announcement of attention, incoming file. Attention, incoming file.
Incoming file.
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go on.
this is something new for the land of Mainframe.
Yeah, and it even comes from the sky.
Yeah,
But
just
the
like
sky
a game.
turns like what? Gold instead of purple?
Yeah, it's weird, like a gold electric. Yeah.
And everybody seems happy, not scared.
Oh,
So when
excited,
Enzo jumps out and he's like, "Yeah, upgrade city," you're like, "Oh, okay, so this is a good thing."
Yep.
Yeah,
They're it's Christmas in Mainframe.
yeah.
Or New Year's, whatever it is.
That happened between seasons.
Yes.
So Bob zips by on a zip board, and Dot calls him up on Glitch, and she's all like, "Bob, where are you?" And he's all like, "I'll be there in a minute, bitch."
And then fireworks happen,
And she says to him on her iPad, like, "You'd better hurry. The upgrade is already here."
Yep.
So we got an upgrade coming in.
And then Bob swoops in like he does.
Mm-hmm. I do like. I actually think this is a neat way to start off the season. I will say, because I feel like it kind of reintroduces us to the world of Mainframe and like tells us that yes, this is the land of living inside a computer system.
Yeah.
And also, like, that the episode begins with an incoming upgrade kind of tells the audience that, hey, we're back and we're going to be better than ever. At least that's my takeaway from it.
That actually is a good way to
It's
put
like
it. I was
moving
thinking
from
about that too.
Windows,
Yeah.
like ME to like Windows Vista.
Or in this case, Windows 3.11 to Windows 95.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah,
remember
that's a
Windows
good point. This is 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob is all like, after Dot is like, well, the upgrade's already here. And he's like, and so am I, as he zips into frame. And Bong makes a point of mentioning that, the upgrade is here earlier than I expected.
Earlier. Yeah.
Which already I'm like, stroking my chin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Upgrades early?
Beardy stroke.
They've clearly never worked at any place ever.
All those like workplaces out there where we're on like whatever version, like the 6 or 7-year-old version of Windows 10 now, and they're still rocking Windows 7.
Nice.
The IT guy is like all excited because they're upgrading to Windows 8, and they're only doing that because Windows 7 support has been discontinued.
Has stopped. That is literally like most workplaces I've been at.
Yeah. I think the computer, not that I use computers, ever at my workplace, but I think the computers there might be on Windows 8 or like Windows 8.1. But
Windows XP maybe.
uh,
Still better than Windows 10. Whichever one it was that came out, I didn't pay attention.
Hey, Windows 10 is actually pretty great.
Was it good?
I'm a fan.
Or is it good? Awesome.
Windows 8 was the not so good one.
That's right. Okay.
See, Windows operating systems are kind of like Star Trek movies. Every other one is good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah. Although that's the old joke with Star Trek movies. I don't necessarily agree with it, but because I actually like Star Trek 3.
Oh,
You
good.
monster.
Hey, it's got Doc Brown as a Klingon, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And the Enterprise blows up at the end of it. That was like a holy shit moment when I was watching that as a kid.
Yeah.
And it blows up at the end, not in like some kind of time loop, but it actually is destroyed. It doesn't just cut to commercial and then come back and everything's back to normal.
Wow.
Dude.
Star Trek. Star Trunk. The next denigration.
Yeah.
I actually had an idea for something relating to the name Star Trunk that I'll discuss with you off air.
Okay.
Something that I think could be fun if you guys could be down.
Yes. So
Anyway,
we're
ReBoot.
Yes, the
we're on
reboots.
we're on the floating ball, and it starts to descend
Yeah, it's go.
into the principal office.
Well, Dot is all like, because the upgrade goes up, and like Dot is all like gushing over it, and it's all like, it's like opening a gift and finding a new data compression module or some other business computer bullshit.
So it's a loot crate. They know it's good. They just don't know what it is.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And then Fong interjects and is all like, or perhaps something better to fight the viruses.
Perhaps it's for someone, for some, something for all of us, not just you.
Selfish bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
I've recently, literally yesterday, I had this conversation and I was like, man, I've been subscribed to different loot crates in the past for like way too long. Like, what was wrong with me? Now I just have like 1,000 knickknacks and a bunch of shirts that I'll never wear, right?
Yeah,
right.
And I figured it out. It took me years. Like I haven't been subscribed to any of that bullshit in years, but it took
Well,
me years.
most of them have gone under now.
And I figured, it was a fad, right?
Yeah.
And what I think it was is, it's like getting gifts, right? As in, you don't know what it is, right? Might be something you like, it's a mix, like, right? But you're getting it for yourself. And I think what made them more popular was that the stuff inside was mostly a mystery. If it had just been like, hey, here's next month's loot crate, it has this, 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 and this, I bet you it would actually sell less. But by leaving it a mystery, it has this like Christmas effect or birthday effect.
Right. I was just gonna say it taps into that inner child, like nostalgic feeling of like opening a present on like Christmas or a birthday or Easter or whatever, and just like that like very childlike excitement of that. Because we all know most nerds are just overgrown children.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
and
I am.
I was trying to
doing a podcast about a 25-year-old cartoon.
That's a good point. And I was trying to figure out like what the hell was like wrong with me. And yeah, it was like, you know how some people do like shopping therapy and that kind of thing.
I do. It's a ton of that.
Yeah, it's like that plus the surprise of getting a gift. And when I finally figured that out, I was like, oh, well, why don't I need that anymore? And I guess part of me in my like mid to late 20s kind of grew up. And now I'm kind of the opposite than I used to be. I used to be like, oh, this game's on sale. It's on my wish list. It's on sale for $10. I'll buy it. Like on Steam, right?
Yeah.
There's this game, right? And then I quickly realized in my 20s, like not only do I only beat like maybe like one out of four, like 25% of the games I actually purchase, but some of them I don't even play. Like I'm looking over there and I have Watch Dogs 2, like on PS4, sitting there. Never once played it.
And now the third one's out.
Yeah, that's right. And I stopped that now.
The same way though. Yeah.
I actually am completely different now. Now I'm very hard pressed to ever buy a game, even when it's cheaper on sale. Because I'll be like, especially when other people are like, hey, buy this game, I'll play it with you. That is the biggest fucking lie any human being will ever say. Yeah. Like when you got Dead by Daylight, I never said, hey, Christopher, buy this, I'll play it with you, right? Mm-hmm. You ended up doing that of your own accord, and then we ended up playing one time, right? Yeah. Hopefully you felt like you got your money's worth, and it's always there if we want to jump back into it. But exactly, I have fallen for the trap of being like, hey, buy this or buy that, and we'll play it with you. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then it never fucking happens, and it's a waste of money. Mm-hmm. So something's happened in my life, and now I buy way less shit than I used to.
With video games, it took me maybe until about a year or two ago before I finally broke the habit of just buying like anything that was on sale that I was even remotely interested in. And now I tend to just buy games that I know I'm going to play.
Yeah, exactly. Save yourself time and money.
Like I recently, like even though I bought and played through it on the Xbox One X Control, I recently repurchased it on PC on the Epic Games Store because one, I really loved that game. And two, I suspected my computer would run the game a lot better because even the One X, the 4K version of the Xbox One, it struggled with the frame rate a lot of the time. But playing it on my PC, like I can render it in 1440p on like decent graphics settings, and it's still running at like 50 to 60 frames. So I'm like, cool. And I've put like 15 hours into it this week. So it wasn't a wasted purchase.
It's rare, but
we are so far off topic.
I know we are. I've done that a few times where I'm like, I'll actually play this on this other this other console / like way to play, and I've actually had games on multiple consoles or multiple avenues. But yeah, like the Sniddler said, who doesn't game and doesn't loot crate and feels left out and bitter like an old man, we will get back to ReBoot, sir. What are you? Are you here to make a ReBoot podcast or something?
Well, I thought I was.
No, we're talking about bad habits. Anyways, yes, knickknacks. They're getting a knickknack. They're getting a digital loot crate.
For apologies to both Sniddler and all the listeners. We haven't been podcasting for a few weeks, so we've got so much to talk about,
Yeah.
But we'll get back on track here.
Yeah, I think our most boring episodes though are where we just like inorganically like spew the plot of the episode out and don't really deviate from that. So it's okay. We can rant sometimes. Maybe not that much, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Pineapple pizza.
I just have other stuff on. Yeah.
All right.
Pinnacle Descent.
No, you're not allowed to have other stuff.
All right.
But anyways, they're getting their loot crate from the sky, and I don't know, what does
Descent.
it look like? Yeah.
Fong yells out Pinnacle Descent, and the spherical elevator starts descending into the core of the principal office.
Yeah.
And they're all talking about how they need to. Fong's talking about how they need to maintain like the highest level of safety and security, and Bob and Dot are like basically like, no worries, we got this. Like,
hold up. So he has voice locked commands for a lot of different stuff, correct?
Yeah.
But yet Enzo could get into the core by just putting his hand on the lock. I know that's from a different season, but
no, it's okay. I just noticed that the handprint was indeed green to get in a hand, so you had to be either Dot or Enzo.
Well, that's your theory.
Oh, that's my theory.
A ReBoot theory.
It's just a very strange. Yeah, no, I agree though. That's strange.
An alphanumeric hypothesis.
That's just a hypothesis. An alphanumeric hypothesis. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Thanks for coming to our podcast. Yeah, so geez, let's catch up here. Yeah, blah blah blah, security. Let's open this bad boy.
Dot calls up Enzo, who's at the diner, on a vid window, and he's like leading a chant with all of the one binomes, all the patrons in the diner, being like, "What do we want? Upgrades. When do we want them? Now."
He's got a whole rally.
Yeah, he's
going on. Yeah,
no idea why. But yeah, he's all like totally online here, ready for the upgrade, and then Cecil shows up and is all like, "Maybe this time I will get some legs."
Right? Give this poor man some legs.
Yeah, he needs legs.
I know, he deserves it. He works hard.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of shit.
None of this.
You don't get that jaded
hanging from the ceiling
for nothing,
Yeah.
I know, I'm speaking from experience.
Also, is he getting paid? He's kind of stuck there.
Yeah, we never really discussed that, have we?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, they decide to open it before, like while they're still descending, correct?
No, they wait till they get to the bottom.
Yeah, they're in the core at this point.
Yeah, so
you're right.
Yeah,
and
so
the doors all lock and stuff.
Yeah, so Dot's like, "See you after power down," and the pinnacle whatever elevator hits the bottom, and then Fong opens up a bunch of vid windows announcing to all a Mainframe like to prepare for power down and reboot and upgrade and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
And Bob is basically like, "Man, I'd love to see Megabyte even think of trying something in here."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Had to say it, didn't you? Didn't you, Bob?
Yeah, that's really all. Yeah.
This lid seems
Spoiler
to get
alert.
heavier and heavier.
Yes.
So Fong is like, care to do the honors, Bob, and brings up a little vid window with a big ass green button on it. Bob presses it, and the platforms, the like little bridges going into the principal office, retract and pull into the principal office, and a big green shield engulfs it.
Yeah, big energy ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then Fong tries to lift the lid of the loot crate open. And this is where he's like, Kal, this is where he's like, these lids seem to get heavier and heavier every year.
Yeah.
Can you help me with this, Bob? And Bob's like, yeah, let me do it. And he goes to lift the lid off of it, and seemingly effortlessly, he and the lid go flying back.
Yeah.
Almost like
Kinda shoots
something kicked it off.
Yeah.
Or perhaps Bob just doesn't know his own strength.
That's true.
Well, at this point, anything's possible.
And Fong extends his long ass skinny neck and like looks right inside. You know when you open a mystery container and the first thing you do is just shove your head right in?
Yeah.
Because, safety is of the utmost importance, but he does
Of
this.
course.
It's like
Or when-
having your head over a steaming like dish that you've been like cooking, like rice or like curry or something, and you pull the lid off right when your head's over top.
Yeah.
So you get the most flavor.
Yeah,
or when
that's
you're
it.
playing,
Flavor.
a survival horror video game, and there is a ominous hole in the wall, and you press the action button, and it's like, there's a hole here. Would you like to stick your hand in it? Yes, no.
And you go, yeah, this
And
is
you-
Silent Hill, the room. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. What
Nothing bad.
What could go wrong?
And just like Silent Hill, everything goes right. No.
Yeah, of course.
It's actually quite horrifying. Fong screams as Megabyte's hand like grips into his fucking brain. Like he
just
grabs his head
his face.
Yeah.
and seemingly like drains his energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
one
I
thing I'll
actually
give
felt
this-
bad for Fong here. I'm
and,
like,
and
oh,
it
poor
makes
guy.
Megabyte scary again. Like, oh, he can just grab you and drain your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
this was
he's dangerous.
a good reintroduction to the character, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. As he shows up in this episode a lot scarier and a lot more serious and less cartoonish, if you will. I think it was, I don't know. I think this really just says how this season basically illustrates how serious Megabyte is, I think.
Yeah. So I think it's a good
Yeah.
intro. It makes him scary again.
Yeah.
And
I like
Dot
him
is
scary.
like, Megabyte. And Megabyte is like,
Oh,
oh, Miss Matrix. What a pleasant surprise.
As he's still holding Fong by the head, and Fong's like groaning, like in pain.
I like how friendly and polite he is here.
I'll
Dot.
give them this. They write him really well. Like
Yeah.
he's somehow this like cordial mob boss, right?
Yeah.
Who's very he speaks very eloquently. But he's also this like feral, dangerous animal at times.
Oh yeah.
So I really like that he's just like animalistically like killing Fong right here, and he's like, please, Miss Matrix, I'm rather busy.
I'm really quite busy right now. Yeah.
And I'm like, huh.
And
He's kind of merciful even at times. Like he could just grab her with his other hand. I mean, like, who's his biggest competition, or not competition? His biggest adversaries in Mainframe are Dot and Bob. If they're gone, he wins, right?
Yeah.
say to a lesser extent hexadecimal as well.
That's a good point. Like she'll F up his shenanigans. So those three are the only entities stopping him from taking over Mainframe.
Mm-hmm. Because like sometimes she'll work with him, but like she'll definitely work against him as well if she needs to for her own goals, and he'll absolutely do the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob chimes in and is all like, he says some Bob bullshit as in like, infect the core of Mainframe. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Doesn't
And
he
so
throw the lid?
Yeah, he throws the lid at Megabyte like a frisbee, and then Megabyte, like the fucking bestial blue naked man boss that he is,
Catches it with one hand.
catches it with one hand,
So nonchalant.
while still holding Fong in his other hand. And then he drops Fong and then spins around and throws the lid back at Bob like a frisbee.
Does he?
Oh no, he puts it back on the crate.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then he
my
picks
bad.
it up. And then
Right.
Bob calls
This
for
is
like a
hilarious.
zip line or
This
something.
is hilarious.
So he winds up because he's just gonna throw the whole capsule like at Bob, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And Bob's like, glitch, like zip line or something, right? But he does it before he throws it at him, and Megabyte just like shoots it to where the zip line attaches rather than right at Bob,
Yeah.
and like breaks his like connection to the wall. It's like
so-
hilarious.
I laughed.
And he just falls like a fucking sack of potatoes straight down.
Yeah, and both the crate and Bob reach the end of the line like almost simultaneously. So it knocks like the crate like hits where the line attached to the wall just as Bob is approaching it.
Yeah.
So he falls like even farther than he would have.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Than if he was just knocked off the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite comical. It got the biggest laugh
Oh,
out
the
of
wall
me.
slopes. So instead of falling straight down, he kind of
Yeah,
slides.
it's like concave or something. No.
No, so Megabyte picks up Fong by his scrawny neck, and he's like, "Oh yes, now where were we? Like, is Dot just still chilling there? I guess she can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that later.
He's awfully quiet.
Well, you can't, like, other than hexadecimal and Bob with Glitch's help, you physically, other than running or using like equipment, you can't really tango with them head on head.
No.
And so Fong kind of like weakly like mutters, "You cannot infect me, virus."
And Megabyte is like, true, but I can copy your
Read only.
your read only file.
Yeah.
Read only memory.
Your
Yeah.
read only memory, yeah. Because he wants the entry codes to the core. And he gets it.
Yeah,
he
he just
like
places
puts
his
his
hand
other
on his
hand
head.
on his brain, and you actually see like his head go translucent a little bit, and like a organic like brain like light up as if he's like using electroshock or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it transfers from Fong's brain to, and you know how I make fun of like that, him being a xenomorph, Megabyte, like the head. It shows his Megabyte's brain glow green here, and his brain is as long as his head.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Like his brain goes all the way out, like into where his like hair starts. So he does have like a really long, like stretched out, like brain. So
I mean,
he's big brain Megabyte.
I mean, not that he's an organic life form at all, but like speaking in terms of evolution, like if he was, that would ring true. Like he would have a long brain based on the shape of his head. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, look at him. He's the pinnacle of evolution. Man, if humans looked like that and had brains that long.
I mean, I don't mean to brag about having a long brain or anything like that, but
yeah.
So Megabyte has has what he needs from Fong and is all like pinnacle elite core control. And the elevator descends through the
Finishes its
floor.
descent. Yeah.
Yeah, the spherical floor that Bob slipped down opens up. And the platform descends, and Bob climbs through and is holding on to the outside.
Yeah, because it's all like on lockdown during this.
Yeah.
So as
Yeah.
it closes, he's like kind of like
Hanging
Like,
upside down.
yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, so he rock climbs. He seems to be doing that with ease.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's doing some Assassin's Creed bullshit here.
Yeah.
That's a good point. His finger strength is amazing. Especially when considering he's wearing combat boots. It's all upper body strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Megabyte's like, oh, the core is more beautiful than I imagined.
Is
I'm
it?
like, is it? Yeah.
yeah.
Is it though?
All right. Okay. Cool story. Cool story, bro.
And Dot still has her tablet.
Yes. She needs to try and warn the people outside. Yes.
And we're back at the diner, and Enzo's got a bunch of vid windows in front of him, and he's all like, bum circuit, not a pixel upgraded.
What a tear.
Enzo says some Enzo bullshit.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets a call on a vid window from one of the CPUs who's
Chief.
giving him orders, like basically giving him the rundown, like to stay at the diner, and that the whole sector is on orders to stay on lockdown because he got like a garbled transmission from inside of the principal office, and some dramatic instrumental music plays. Oh, and here's Dot.
Mhm.
Dot is holding Fong, and Megabyte says the like creepy ass line, I haven't felt this good since my first infection. I don't know. It was kind of a gross line.
I know.
77. The first time I got chlamydia. Dot or not Dot, Bob like Spider-Man's into frame and kicks Megabyte over. Yeah. Uses gravity on his side. He interrupts his like montage of him like taking over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he like flips over. He uses like a rocket booster on Glitch because apparently Glitch can do anything. And like
I feel like this is really sloppy work from Bob.
kinda.
Right? Like he's also quick on his feet, but I feel like Glitch is also kind of like if Glitch wasn't so efficient at doing what it does.
Yeah.
Like I like how he like you said he jumps over Megabyte by using his like glitch as like kind of like a rocket, but like what did that accomplish besides draining its energy?
Absolutely nothing.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Megabyte is all like, if it's cat and mouse,
Bob.
how about some cheese?
And he extends his claws and kind of like pounces at. That's a kind of good point. If he's just going to keep like messing around and not actually like fisticuff him, he'll just go and mess up Fong and Dot.
Yeah.
And he, what does he do? He like says glitch.
It was energy shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, he yells glitch energy shield, and it makes this big kind of like energy rubbery
Bumper.
Bumper.
Yeah.
And Megabyte bounces off of it.
He comes
literally
right at Bob.
And redirects at Bob. And Bob like a weird scared child, closes his eyes and like covers his face with his arms and says, "Glitch, anything."
And a freaking lamppost
And a
shows
lamp
up.
post. Actually, I have it paused right as Megabyte's face as he's sliding down it. His eyes are like wide open, and yeah, a
I
lamp
might
post.
actually make this the show art of the episode.
It's pretty good. It summarizes the episode nicely.
Yeah.
And then like, why did he like cover his like face with his arm? Again, you can't fisticuff Megabyte. He's vastly physically like superior, but like try to run out of the way, jump out of the way, glitch, lightsaber, something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Bob's like falling off an analog. Derp derp. He smarmly looks at the camera as if he's won.
Yeah, yeah.
But like Megabyte just stands up, like right in front of him.
Yep. Somehow he's...
And
It's
then,
weird.
because he's a genius, Bob's like, sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say? What's weird?
Oh, I was to say is this somehow he stands at because it happened right in front of him,
Mhm.
and he stands. Megabyte gets up. It looks like he's right in front of him, and he starts making a running start, which means he couldn't possibly be right in front.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's weird. It was like a
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he says, glitch, elevator. Glitch? And he looks at Glitch's display, and it
Yeah.
shows that it's out of energy.
Out of juice.
And I'm like, elevator?
That's a new thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a new thing. He hasn't used it in such quick succession.
yeah. I guess.
He's used it like a couple times in a row, but he's never used it like 4 times in a row. And I guess it depends on what he does with it too.
Well, as with
Maybe.
any electronic device, like
Yeah.
like even your, like, I don't know, say your smartphone, like your smartphone, if like all you're doing on it is using calls, like just using it to as a, like, for its original intended purpose,
Yeah.
like the battery is going to last a long time. But if you're watching like videos on it and then like texting people and yada yada yada, like it's going to drain pretty fast.
Yeah.
Well, comparatively anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes
And that's what
off
happens here.
Yeah.
Yep. So Dot is cradling Fong, and Fong's all like, you must save yourself to save Mainframe. Go! As somber music plays. And then he's all like, zip, zip, zoom.
And then he passes out.
And then he passes out, and like a portal appears. And Bob comes charging toward Dot as Megabyte is charging behind him, and he grabs Dot, and they both run through the portal, which the portal itself like collapses and like zips across to the
That's kind of cool.
yeah, it's a cool effect. Like the portal collapses and then into like a little ball and then zips forward to the other side of the platform, or to the adjacent platform, and then
so
reforms into another portal, and
Yeah,
then
it's
they
like
emerge.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, not quite like a portal, but like an energy transfer.
It's like a bridge.
I
but it's-
like it more,
Yeah.
than just like a straight up portal. But I like that it's been implying Bob has just been running in circles the whole time that
Yeah.
Dot's been talking to Fong. Like I said,
Mhm.
you could run from him, but you can't really fight him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go across that like energy bridge, but because the static of the energy kind of stays on the other side, it's implying that it's one way. Because Megabyte's on the
Oh,
other side
yeah.
and he like growls. Right? Like it doesn't stay open on his side.
I wondered how it was activated in the first place, because it only showed up as Bob was entering.
It kind of like flicked into
Yeah.
like it kind of like static-y like flicked into existence.
Yeah.
Well, it was from Fong being all like zip, zip, zoom.
I think it's
that was
one
the
of his
password for
voice
the-
it's
Yeah.
one of his voice activated like commands.
Yeah.
That only he knows.
Okay, I never even thought of that. Holy cow.
Yeah, good catch.
That's why we are here.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Wow.
Yeah. So they lock the core with like a big vault, like circular what are those things called? Like a vault handle.
Yeah,
And she's like
a
they're
bank
like,
vault,
oh yeah, they're like, oh, poor Fong, blah blah blah. And he's like, well, we had to get out of there, and I need to recharge Glitch.
Yeah.
And so they go to do that, and fast. And I'm
And-
like, uh-oh, if this is like, like a cellular phone from the 90s, this is going to take like a couple hours.
Yeah.
Maybe Glitch just needs some slow food fast.
That's it.
Some slow food fast, yeah.
Get to
Yep.
level 31.
Yeah, where's Al's Diner when you need it?
Yeah, exactly.
It was all the way down at level 31.
Yep.
Wow. That's why it was so dark. And sideways. Remember? That was some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like gravity works different.
Mm-hmm.
Am I remembering that wrong?
No,
Yeah, it was
you're
like-
correct.
Yeah, like the bottom of it was like what's the word I'm looking for? Like at a 90-degree angle to like the surface of Mainframe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Totally. forgot.
Otherworldly shit, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think when we were reviewing when that happened, I actually was like, oh hey, I can't remember who I was talking to. I think Christopher had like stepped out for a moment, and it was Sniddler and I.
Yeah.
And we were like, he's on his zip board, but then he suddenly like turns 90 degrees.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
really
on the
weird.
surface. So we were like, oh, things are like sideways down there. Cool.
So it would
Gravity.
seem. This is very odd.
Gravity, no escaping it.
Yeah.
Nope.
And there's no escaping Megabyte, because he kind of like says to the he says out loud like, command comm, initiate program. And I'm like, erase. And it's just like,
Yeah, he's
Uh-oh.
all like, he
He's-
says to Fong, he's like, I have a city to destroy. Ha 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 ha.
he's
He roars
deleting
too.
Yeah.
He
What's
roars.
that? What is he doing? Deleting System 32?
Oh, well,
What's that thing that 4chan used to troll people with? Like back in the day, if you go and like delete the System 32 file, like fucks up your computer's ability to function. Let me look 1 sec. Yeah, System 32.
Well, System 32 is
folder.
is a folder in Windows that contains critical system files.
Mm-hmm. And I think 4chan used to troll people because people were like, hey, I'm having these problems, blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, oh, delete System 32. It makes your computer way faster.
Right.
So that became a meme.
I
Yeah.
vaguely remember that. So we're outside the diner now, and the sky's gone dark, and a voice comes over the city that's like, warning, environment shut down. And all the binomes in the diner start panicking, and Megabyte's watching this on vid windows and is just laughing, like just so satisfied with himself.
Oh yeah.
Having a grand old time.
The toot guy just shows up for about 5 seconds on the screen. Took.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
The
took.
number 5 is there.
Number 5, the construction. Oh, it's
The
John
pink
Luke is there.
binome with a bow.
You know, what'd be funny is if the number 5's name was Johnny.
Yeah.
That's a
That'd be
deep
pretty
cut
funny.
at this point.
Yeah.
If the number 5's name was Johnny.
Got a 5.
Johnny 5 alive.
Yeah.
Short circuit. Like I said,
so-
deep cut at this point.
Wow.
It works though.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
So, Megabyte, in the process of deleting System 32, he releases like Fong's little like game
Shuffle
puck energy things. And there's like a broom bot, like a cleaning bot. that like gets scared and runs away, and one of them collides with it, and there's a little explosion, and it deletes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did Megabyte do that? Because
Magic.
He was like,
that's not what happens when you play that game. And apparently Megabyte was successful at doing all this work in order to delete everybody
Well,
at once.
maybe they're repurposed, like security for security purposes.
That's possible.
Because Bob, even seeing this, he says, "Oh, it looks like they're the pucks from Fong's game, but they're
Loaded
energy
with-
seeking."
loaded with electromagnetic detonators.
Oh yeah, that's
So there,
right.
there you
too.
go.
So maybe
Yeah.
Megabyte modified them somehow. I mean, he is a
Booby traps.
virus.
Booby
Yeah.
traps.
And electromagnetic. So I guess when they come in contact with a sprite or a binome or a bot or something, that
Yeah.
takes them out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt an organic being, but we're in
Well,
mainframe.
They're not organic.
Hmm.
They are computers. The things.
And they are computers.
They are
They are
computers.
computers.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
Bob and Dot are computers.
Yep, that's it.
Someday, I hope to be a computer too.
Well,
Maybe we
Horrifying.
all can be computers if we,
Well,
if we
I-
just believe hard enough.
I think we're closer to
actually-
that than we believe.
I think we're actually AI that exist in some sort of like reality.exe.
Holy crap! Here we go.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
That's my Matrix podcast.
Awesome.
They won't get into that.
We'll
That
save
now.
that for another show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a lot of
Because-
shows.
We have a lot of
show ideas.
A lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
believe me, I have ideas for like a dozen different podcasts.
Oh yeah.
No,
Well,
like
sometimes Christopher lets me rant about the Matrix, or when he goes to the bathroom, I'll just like completely like cold cut like straight into some wacky theory I have about the Matrix. I think he's actually like left one in one
sweet.
time too.
All right.
yeah, I have a couple of times.
Um,
So Bob and Dot are still being chased down by these game pucks, and Bob, there's game pucks coming at them from either side, and Bob asks Dot, he's like, "Hey, does your tablet have a jumper cable?" And she's like, "Yeah, but like if I lose all my data, or if I lose power, all my data is finished." And Bob's basically just like, "Listen, lady, we got
What do you
more
want,
important
your
things to
life
worry
or your
about right
data?
now."
Yeah.
So she's like, "All right." So she gives him the tablet. He hooks it up to Glitch, and we see a visual representation on the screens of both of them of power transferring from the tablet to Glitch.
and I'm
so-
like, motherfucker, you could have done this the entire time.
Yeah.
Hey, desperate times.
Yeah. So what? She'll lose her like
The
data
loser
cache.
porn. Yeah.
She'll lose her bookmarks,
Yeah, that's it.
all of her PDFs.
I bet that organizer is just what it's called. I bet it's cluttered.
She'll lose the Netflix login. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
well,
fuck!
you know.
Nobody can remember that. It needs like uppercase, lowercase, characters, numbers. It's
Well, yeah,
wacky.
you know my Netflix password.
I definitely don't. I can tell you that much.
Well, I mean, you've seen it.
Let's share it.
You could give me a week to try to memorize that, and I would never remember it.
How about a month?
It's got like a backwards 7 and like random assorted string of like letters and
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, my passwords are always like wacky like that.
You mean like passwords are supposed to be like unguessable, like random jumbles of.
I will say,
whatever.
like they do all mean something to me.
Oh, you
like
make those up? You don't just hit like generate
No,
password for me?
No, I make that up. Like
Oh, wow, that looks
wow.
computer generated.
off air, I'll actually explain the cipher to you of what it means sometime.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair.
because it does, like, my passwords, they may be like really wacky and like, whoa there, but like they, to me, like they do mean something.
They have
so
a
that's how
sentence or something.
there
Is
is
it-
like there's a hidden code.
Is it zip zip zoom?
It would
You're
be
close.
zip, zip,
It's zip zop zoopity bop.
Oh,
zip, zop, zoopity bop.
well, you
but,
heard
like,
it here, folks.
Quit hacking
Christopher's-
all of his accounts.
Yeah.
So back at the
Okay, where
back
are
at
we?
the back at the
Oh, yeah.
diner, Enzo and all the binomes, they aren't looking so good.
No.
They're starting to fade out, low energy.
Enzo.
And Cecil is like losing his shit, and then Enzo
Enzo slaps him.
and Cecil does that old like sitcom trope of thanks, I needed that,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
after someone hits them, which fortunately isn't a thing anymore because it's so stupid and overdone.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, keep all those energy drinks coming, you
You
French bastard.
You frog
You
television.
magnificent bastard. Frog television.
So we cut back to Megabyte in the principal office, and Hexadecimal calls him up on a vid window, and
It's like, hey, good job.
yeah, she's basically like, you wouldn't be thinking of erasing me, would you? And he's like, no, of
Calm
course
down.
not. No. Why would I do such a thing? Ha 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 ha. And she's like, good.
Would that
Remember
be any
the
way
deal.
to treat family? This is actually the first episode we hear about them being related,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. which is something I think is noteworthy because it does play a part.
Now, when Christopher had mentioned actually Hexadecimal would throw a wrench in his plans, I actually thought, like rewatching this now, like yesterday, I was like, oh, so she's going to get involved because she knows that Megabyte's like a filthy liar.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. We actually don't see
Yeah.
her again this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
That's a lot of trust there.
but then why even have her talk to him on a window? I guess for continuity.
I
Planting
think,
some
yeah,
seeds.
I think it's something that needed to be mentioned because it's so chaotic, and that's how Hexadecimal operates. So she's probably saying, "Hey, I'm liking this. Keep it up," and just siblings bickering.
Yeah, maybe
that
it's a
kind of
realistic
stuff.
kind of thing. I don't think it lends
Yeah.
to the episode. If the episode was
No.
about them being at odds with each other and them mentioning being siblings, I'd go, oh, okay. But for me, you know how Christopher said, like, just because like it's snowing doesn't mean that it's a Christmas movie when we did
Yeah,
the preamble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that her showing up and being like, hey, now, I don't feel like it lends anything.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm being picky. You can't liquidate everything
show
down
at
into
all.
a streamlined plot. Like,
No.
it makes sense. You'd text your brother and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Mom's
No,
not
so
home, okay? Shut up.
I saw your status. Is this what you want to do? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
it makes the world that they're building like a little more believable. So I take it back. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and kind of knowing where things go, like they're planting some seeds here
Yeah.
of them,
Oh.
like maybe not like kind of cooperating, but also not really trusting one another.
Yeah.
Like they're also competing to infect the same system, which makes them at odds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, remember the deal, and he's like, yes, Hex, 50-50, like we agreed.
Yeah.
And as soon as she gets off the line, she's like, oh, I'll be watching you carefully. And
Yeah.
after she gets off the line, Megabyte's like, watch closely, Hex. Mainframe will be remade in my image. So
Yeah.
he plans to double cross her.
Oh yeah.
And she probably knows that.
Yeah.
Oh, of course she does.
It's shown her like being gullible
Yeah.
at times, right? But also like not gullible at all.
It's like she's mentally ill.
It's almost like, yeah, she can be manipulated by people because she's not. Actually, the more Christopher and I have talked about it, the more I can see like certain like symptoms of
Yeah.
things. I won't get into it because it's
hidden.
Christopher's business, but he's pointed some things out that make some things apparent with hexadecimal that I wouldn't have
Yes.
thought of otherwise.
No, I think about that too.
Yeah.
It's an interesting element to add to the, or at least to a character. Doesn't necessarily add to the story yet, anyways.
But
We'll get there.
I don't think they do that like normally, especially in cartoons or anything from pre like 2010. It's mental illness is portrayed jarringly like offensively at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or what's the word I'm looking for? There's insensitive. Yeah. Or in fact just wrong. That's my favorite. Like schizophrenia means that you have imaginary friends that talk to you.
Yeah.
Like,
you're schizophrenic? You have multiple personalities?
Okay, so I have family with certain schizoaffective mental illness. And I hate that the most. For like the last 50 years of cinema and TV, schizophrenia means you have multiple personalities. What?
Yeah.
There's never been a case of that. Like
nope.
It's all.
That's
it's just like
BS.
It's the one, but it's the one character they can capitalize on because it's the easiest one to act out. I think for at least for Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywooded mental illness. So to make my point, like I actually don't think it's offensive with hexadecimal.
No,
it's
and I'm
not.
sure there might be other people reviewing it now that might go, oh geez, I can't. Like I've seen a lot of posts lately on my Facebook feed that have been like, oh hey, I'm gonna go rewatch this 90s thing. Ooh, oh geez, that's racist. Ooh, that's kind of like offensive to like women. Ooh, that's like that's not sensitive to mental illness. Wow, the 90s sucked. Maybe somebody else can find something like wrong with it, or maybe in a future episode. But even though her theme is like the masks, right? And she jumps back and forth between different emotions, I think that's a good way of having like a character and having like a character study, like us three talking about it with mental illness without it being like slapstick, like making fun of the mental illness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's not a villain because she's mentally ill. That's the important part.
Yeah.
And a lot of other shit gets that wrong. They make the villain is a villain because they're mentally ill, not that they're a character with mental illness. So I like Hex in this. Rewatching this now as like an adult, I actually am surprised that I like that character more.
Yeah. No, she's actually become one of my favorites too, especially in this season. Because we learn a lot about her, and
her story gets even more interesting as the series goes.
Yeah,
I look forward to it.
Yes,
I've mentioned this with Christopher on our Beast Wars podcast. My memory of these like 90s shows is like barely there. Right, so I'm kind of looking, and I'm watching them ahead of time. I'm only watching them right before we do this podcast. So I'm kind of like purposely waiting until like the day before we do these to rewatch them.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like watching, sometimes an episode will just surprise me, and I'll go, I never watched this when it was on TV. And I'm looking forward to seeing where the show goes.
Yeah.
And to jump back into the show. Wait, that tree looks like a Minecraft tree. There's earthquakes happening in Mainframe.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft. Fuck.
In Mainframe. Yeah.
In Mainframe.
Chris
And-
Angel, Mainframe.
Wow. If I was any good with like 3D art, I would make a one binome, but like look like Chris Angel. Like his arms would be tattooed, and he'd have
I
like
think,
the black
I think
hair.
if this show had come out like 10, 15 years ago, there definitely would have been a Chris Angel binome.
Wow.
There. Yeah.
So Mainframe is coming apart from earthquakes.
Buildings
The
are
sky
falling
is
apart.
green. Buildings are falling over. There's a
It's-
Minecraft tree
Complete mayhem.
The 8-ball of Bob's apartment falls off and
for
goes
like the
rolling
third
away.
time.
Yeah. Thump.
We
There
cut to
goes.
Hex.
One away. The Minecraft
cut
tree.
to- Yeah, there's the Minecraft tree. We cut back to Hex. Like Christopher was saying, of course, 50-50 control, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
sounds legit.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself there.
Oh, no, that's fine. I just wanted to quickly point out that, like, the whole mainframe is, like, falling apart. She
So
even says, I'll be watching you. And I'm like, will you? You only have Scuzzy.
Yeah.
Although he's very good at what he does.
He's a good
He's a spy thing.
He's a good pup type thing. He's a good pupper.
Henchman pup.
Yeah.
I've
A
just
hench
realized
pupper.
that Scuzzy is like the opposite of hack and slash. Hack and slash are all muscle and like no fucking brain whatsoever. And Scuzzy's like this recon drone that like records things for her and is like shuts up and like does what he's told. So who's better? Well, it depends, I guess.
The answer is yes.
It's funny
Yes.
because Megabyte has the most chaotic henchmen, and
He's all about order.
he's all about order, and she's all about chaos, and she has the
Oh.
most orderly henchmen
Yeah, that's a good
Oh.
point.
because they
Interesting.
kind of balance each other out.
Yeah,
That's an interesting.
yeah, that's a good catch.
Yeah.
Very good yin yang going on.
Because no matter what happens, hack and slash are always blown to pieces and then reconstructed. You know,
That's one of the the benefits of having henchmen that are made of Legos.
henchmen that are made of Legos. Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, so Dot goes and I don't know, what is she doing here?
She
Bob
just
runs
wanders
off to
armory,
fight
Yeah, she
Megabyte?
wanders into the armory and
and it's dark, and she says, "Oh, it's dark. If only I could find a light switch."
She actually
And
said
right
that.
beside her is literally a little glowing thing with a light bulb on it. And she says, "What's
A+,
this?"
gentlemen.
I
A+
was like,
writing.
Well done, Dot. You were so organized, and you
Who
definitely
wrote
know
that?
up from
I
down.
need to double check that. Does she actually say this?
Yep.
yeah,
This
she
is
does.
Some
If I could
fucking
only
10
find
out
a
of
light
10.
switch in here.
If I could only find a light switch around here somewhere.
Oh,
What's this? And it's kind of glowing.
He
and
touches it.
why would they write that in?
I don't know.
I like the greater plot of the show, but like episode to episode, sometimes like the writing for this is like the dumbest I've ever seen in my life.
Gotta be kidding me. Sometimes you gotta be pretending.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite lines ever in any movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
What is that?
Oh, it's from the 60s Batman movie.
Yeah.
Oh, when he has that
Right.
like comical big round
Yeah.
like,
When he's running around the
Bomb.
docks with that
There's,
giant like bomb that's
and
like
he's literally
sparkling
holding it
fireworks
above his head,
above his head, and
like straight up in the air.
There's like a group of nuns, and so then he runs the other way and then ducks, and he's just like, then there's like a marching band, and he stops and thinks, man, some days he just can't get rid of a bomb.
Oh,
You know,
it's
that's a
amazing.
recurring theme of Batman, getting rid of bombs.
Yeah. No.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, that actually made me chuckle the first time I saw The Dark Knight Rises.
Right?
The end of it.
Did you think of
Like-
that too?
I did think of that, yeah.
Some days you can't get rid of a boom.
So Bob is in what
JL
looks to be
Senior.
what looks to be the same room that Enzo used to study back in the Enzo the Smart episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the floating
information.
the information
window.
room with the floating window table thing.
The
What's the
information
statue
highway.
outside? The statue outside we had briefly seen before. It said JL Senior.
It looks like a podium.
And it kind of looks like a podium, and there's a
Yeah.
big stone lamp on it,
Yeah, I saw that.
almost like the Pixar lamp, like all those the lamps that everyone had in the 90s. Hell, I have one like that now. I don't know what that is. I'll have to Google that. Get back to y'all. Anyways, yeah, continue.
When
I was just
Bob
wondering if you knew.
Bob is on this the information console, and he's like scan for recharge nodes, and the voice, the computer, is like processing request. I looked this up today. That voice is actually I looked him up because I was like, oh, I wonder if that's the same computer voice from Beast Wars, but it isn't. It's actually Gavin Blair, one of the creators.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gavin
Oh.
Capacitor.
So that JL Senior, that is an homage to John Lasseter, who created the award-winning computer animated short Luxo Jr.
Oh, cool.
He was a founding member of Pixar, which is
Yeah.
why the lamp is probably on there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Cool.
Huh,
Yeah, John
cool.
Lasseter. He's directed a number of Pixar films now.
Rad.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to point out the statue because I don't think we did when Enzo the Smart walked by that.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely new. Oh, that's good to know.
And to what Christopher was saying, Bob's like messing with the that kind of like table window, and I don't really know what I'm looking at here. A capsule comes out?
Yeah.
Yep.
Some
And
little cabinet.
yeah, it's a recharge node.
Yeah.
And he tosses Glitch in there, and he's got this weird devilish grin on his face as he's watching
It's kind of
the
creepy.
charge. Right?
Yeah. And then the glowing hand of Fong. His little his needle-like fingers tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah, and then Fong does his typical like ominous like speaking in riddles bullshit, and is
Yeah,
like
he kind of looks like a Jedi ghost. I don't know what's going on.
Kind of,
Uh,
yeah.
he's like, you have what you need, now use his greed, and Bob's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Use his greed. His greed. And
he
like
passes out.
the Jedi ghost like begins to slump and like disappear. And I'm like, did he just astral project to Bob?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, it would appear so.
Yeah.
And then Bob
Yeah.
looks super pissed,
holy shit, I've never seen him that angry.
and the
yeah.
camera like zooms in on him.
Like he trembles and has like got this huge grimace on his face, and he like clenches his fists. I'm like, whoa, shit.
Yeah.
Bob
mess
is
with
angry.
mess with my my favorite old man that I play Pong with? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Megabyte sees what he was doing, and we see that Fong probably disappeared because Megabyte interrupted his astral projection.
Oh, yeah, because he like picks him up, and what does he say?
I don't know.
Hands off, old sprite. This is my domain now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, though I must say, you sprites certainly fight bravely.
We're back at the at Dot's Diner, and
yeah.
they're all Enzo and all the binomes are fading out, and Megabyte calls him up to gloat, basically.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, like
Oh.
why is he calling this little kid just to be like, ha 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 ha?
Fuck
My
you,
dear
Enzo.
Enzo. You're looking a little pale.
Like you'd think he'd have more important people to call and gloat to.
He's
think-
butted heads with Enzo. He probably doesn't like him.
I think it's because his sister and Bob are stuck with him, and he just wants to watch him suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, Enzo's looking pretty bad.
Oh, you look pretty bad, Enzo.
Oh, you look a little pale. Dear me, running out of energy shakes.
I'm afraid not even your friends can
Yeah.
save you now. No.
No. No.
But then off screen, Dot is all like, "Surprise, bitch!"
Yeah, she taps him on the shoulder. Surprise, motherfucker.
And she is in a loading bot from the movie Aliens.
Yeah, she is in a motherfucking power loader from Aliens.
And it's awesome. I had a toy of this growing.
Rad.
Yeah.
Actually,
I don't know where it went.
That brings up a quick little sidebar I wanted to bring up. The reason why I know it's called a power loader is like because I'm not a huge I like the Aliens franchise, but I'm not like I haven't watched them really. Like I've only seen them a couple of times each. The reason I know it's called a power loader was because back in the early 90s, there was a series of Alien toys. I think it was around to coincide with the release of Alien 3.
Yeah.
And I remember this one commercial where the like voiceover guy was like, "Ripley's got the power loader."
Yeah, I remember that actually.
And listeners, this was an era when it like if you're not old enough to remember this, which I mean, if you aren't, why are you listening to this show?
Right.
But this was a time where it was extremely common for R-rated films to have children's toys.
Yep.
Based on them.
I had Xenomorph toys.
Yeah, like I
really
remember
articulated, highly detailed,
these weren't like nowadays. Like it's pretty common to see like R-rated films have toys. Like you go to like a collectibles store and you can buy these like like $50 like highly articulated and detailed figures that are aimed at collectors. No, these were toys aimed at children.
Yeah, these were actually.
So like movies like RoboCop, Predator, Aliens, The Terminator. I used to have T2 toys. These are all like violent R-rated films that had children's tie-in toys.
Yeah.
And this was like, it was the norm. And that's not something that would ever happen nowadays.
Wait, that's a good catch. That's a good call. I've never noticed that. It was so common.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just trying to move away from the era where like desensitization to violence was normal, or which, as some people say, like people like baby their kids now. But I mean, I don't know. I've seen some shit when I was a kid that I probably wasn't old enough to see.
I think that fell out of favor in the mid 90s when all of those like Senate hearings were going on about violence in video, like children's entertainment and video games, like when the
school shootings and
the school shootings, like the Senate hearings regarding like Mortal Kombat and things like that. The whole like backlash from parents about the violence in Power Rangers, like the minor.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah, the backlash to Beavis and Butthead. From parents groups. Yeah. So I think like the whole thing of like R-rated action films having children's tie-in toys, I think it fell out of favor in response to all of that. I haven't researched this at all. This is just like this is me just speculating.
You're probably right though. Yeah.
Here's Ripley in the power loader.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Here's Dot in the power loader.
Here's Dot in the exoskeleton. It even
there was actually
tail,
a toy of this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I had one.
Rad.
Yeah.
She's in like a Netrunner suit for some reason.
Yeah.
Hey, I know what that is.
Not to sound like a
tabletop game.
not to sound like a hipster or anything, but like I've been like a huge fan of cyberpunk, like aesthetic, and it's like its own sci-fi like genre, right? Like Neuromancer, Snow Crash, that kind of thing. For like a long time, right? You ever watch that old Keanu Reeves movie, Johnny Mnemonic.
Well, I'm sure this will surprise a great many people who bought the video game Cyberpunk 2077, but that's actually based on a tabletop role-playing game from the 80s.
Yeah, and
I
it
did not
had a
know that.
long run. It had a long
Cool.
run. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2020 is what it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a
Spoiler
new
alert.
one that came out a couple of years ago,
Spoiler
too.
alert. Cyberpunk Red is the tabletop game. Cyberpunk Red. I have a buddy that actually got it. We're gonna try to organize a game over Discord. Yeah.
Sweet.
Woo!
But anyways, Dot is in like a full Netrunner like bodysuit. Like you can see circuits like kind of going over it and everything. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's to like sync her movements or her thoughts with the loader.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because she's not really moving her arms and stuff. She's just kind of like in it. So it probably like reacts to her like subtle body movements. And after she bitch smacks Megabyte, she walks over to him and Megabyte kind of like shakes his head and gets himself back together and he's like, an exoskeleton suit.
How amusing.
She looks pretty badass.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a direct like Aliens like
Homage, yeah.
homage, but I
yeah.
mean
It's pretty shameless.
it's yeah. And
They're not even trying to hide it.
she and speaking of Megabyte looking like a xenomorph, which is something I've pointed out a few times. She kind of grabs like a chunk of metal and like tosses him like across the room,
it's like,
but instead of falling, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go on. It was
Instead of falling, he slides on like one of the beams that wrap around the core, and she does the most stupid thing ever. Instead of just like standing like in the middle, because she's cocky for some reason now, she like walks out on this thin little which by the way the exoskeleton is can barely stand on without falling off.
Yeah.
And she like struts out to go not like pick him up and throw him away, not to kick him into the energy and presumably destroy him. She steps on him.
Yeah. And he
But has she seen him?
Yeah.
He's a gigantic naked jacked blue guy.
Gigantic
Like,
naked
if anybody
black-
can bench press,
naked Jack's blue guy.
if anybody can bench press this exoskeleton, it's Megabyte.
Yep.
And as she's squishing him and his eyes kind of like fade black, they flash back on and he does exactly that. Like fucking lifts.
Yep.
He doesn't skip on his bench presses and he just pushes
He
her
doesn't
off.
skip arm or leg day.
No, every day is
no.
full body day for him. And she falls and she grabs on with her exoskeleton and she's dangling over the edge.
Yep.
Yep, and Megabyte extends the claws in his right hand. I actually used to have a toy of Megabyte that did this.
Nice.
Yeah, you could press a little button on his wrist and like his claws would pop out of his hand.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And presumably, I don't know if we've seen him use them much on the show, but it's
I
bad
remember that,
news.
actually.
He can like delete your shit with it.
Yeah.
But before he cuts off the arm of the exoskeleton and presumably...
You know what I just noticed actually? Earlier his his fingernails extended into claws. This
and
time
now it's his wrist, like Wolverine.
This time it's like Wolverine claws.
That's why I was confused. Remember in an earlier episode, I was like, wait, they come out of his fingers? And we were like, yeah. And then I had remembered them coming out of his wrist, and I thought I was just insane. But then rewatching this episode, I was like,
he does both.
Is this the first episode? He does both at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he extends them from his fingers at one point when he is facing, is it Bob, or when he's torturing Fong or something?
When he's facing Bob, because he's all like, "How about some cheese?"
It is his fingers, right? That he extends when he like
It
leaps at.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Later on, for my own peace of mind, I'm gonna revisit that. But now, yeah, it's like Wolverine. Or not Wolverine. It's like a wrist like thing.
Oh no, they come out of his
Yeah.
the tops of his hands, just like Wolverine, because he's got
Well,
like
is
three.
Wolverine the top of his hands or in between his fingers, or am I getting the movie mixed up with the comic?
It's in between. It's in between his fingers in the movies. It's the top of his hands in the comics.
Yeah, I knew. Okay, so there is a difference.
Yeah.
And in this, it's like the comic. They're like it's coming out of his hand.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's probably directly inspired by Wolverine, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And like the movies weren't even around at this point. So.
No. Yeah. So yeah, it was weird. They came like out of in between his fingers in the movie, and like they cut out of him every time.
Mm-hmm.
But in the comics, he had like little devices for them to protrude out of.
Yeah.
Mm.
Am I wrong, or did they just rip out of his flesh?
No, he had these like it looks like he installed these metal things on top of his hand that allowed them to come out of, rather than just
That's what I
ripping through
remember. Yeah.
rather than just ripping through his flesh, which is what they do in the movie, which
Yeah.
is like kind of badass.
Does that hurt? Every time. Anyways, what do we got going on here? Bob comes and saves the day. What
Yeah.
is
He's got like this
what does he
energy
cast?
beam.
Energy
that he
beam.
holds Megabyte in right before he has a chance to sever the hand.
Yeah, and he's
And
all like, Dot, love the new outfit.
Yeah.
Dot, love the new outfit. And Dot climbs back up with her exoskeleton and grabs Megabyte.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like passes him off to her. And she's like, now I got you. And Megabyte's like, who has whom, Miss Matrix? And I'm like, good English. I can't believe the person that wrote this was one person. Like the person that wrote this wrote who has whom, and yet is the same person that write, geez, I wonder if there's a light switch in here. Oh, here it is. Hold your fire. I'm a human.
Don't shoot, I'm a human.
Oh, I thought you were one of them.
Nice.
Just ripping on.
Nice. I get the reference.
Do you know what we're ripping on, Hayden?
I don't.
Resident Evil 2. The original.
The original English voice acting.
Yeah.
So sorry, what happens here?
But to your point though about that, someone can be like a straight A English major and not be skilled at writing good dialogue.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I know a few people who are very smart when it comes to schooling, but horrible writers.
Yeah.
And on that extent, you can be a great writer and like your grammar can be like all over the fucking place.
It's true.
Absolutely, yeah.
The two farewell to arms.
The two aren't mutually exclusive.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Megabyte infects the power loader and it turns purple, and he orders it to drop him, and then it grabs Bob.
He's like, give me that password.
Yeah. I'll call her off if you give me that password.
Yeah.
Or what I want, a portal to the supercomputer. And Dot is like, sorry, Bob, I can't control myself. And then Bob is like, funny, I've always known that. And I'm like...
just throw in a joke at the worst time possible.
What the fuck? Like, she's like the most put together character in this show. Like,
they had to put in something.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
It's the light switch comment all over again.
I didn't even realize how weird that is until right now.
Completely.
Because her exosskeleton's all like blue to match Megabyte, showing that he's controlling her, right? But like she's just kind of dangling there. So she's just stuck in this thing. And she's under my control. I'll call her off if you give me what I want.
Yeah.
Portal to the supercomputer. And this is reestablishing why Megabyte just doesn't off these people. He's always needed Bob to some extent because he can stabilize tears and make portals out of them.
Yeah.
And that's a good villain like trade-off, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, I'll leave. Just let me get to the supercomputer." So he's not just guarding Mainframe. He also needs to keep Megabyte from like possibly accessing hundreds or thousands or millions of other systems.
Yeah.
Right.
So I kind of like, even though that's very simplified, I kind of like that dynamic. Like he kind of is hesitant to destroy Bob sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he kind of like needs him. And he's like, "Hey, you could have been dealt. I could have been out of your hair by now if you just opened up a portal to the supercomputer." I'm just bringing that back up because I find it's an interesting continuous plot.
Which you would think the Denzians of Mainframe would just be like, you know what? Let him fucking go. Get him out of our hair.
Is the word Denzians or denizens?
Yes.
Okay, correct. But you pointed out, she says, "Sorry, Bob, I can't control myself." And he like cheekily turns to the camera and he's like, "Funny, I've always known that." What the fuck does that mean? She glares at him too when he
It
says
definitely is. It definitely is denizen, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I knew. I was just
Wow. I feel right rotundo now.
Hey, I didn't learn how to pronounce epitome until I was like 22. I always just read it in books and thought it was epitome.
Epitome? That's funny.
Yeah, the epitome.
I minestrone, the soup, Italian soup. I know some people. I used to work at Islands West, and there's one of the delivery guys. He kept asking for minestrone, and I was like, "What the hell is minestrone?" And he showed me the list, and I was like, "That's minestrone, you plum! Like, what do you?" Yeah, mispronunciations.
I once had this delivery driver deliver some pallets from I think he worked for Clark Freightways a few years back.
Yeah.
But he was delivering pallets from UNFI. And he comes up to me and he's like, yeah, are you and he says the business name that I was working for. And I was like, yeah. He's like, "I've got a couple of skids here from and he holds the paper far away from his face and he's like, "Unfi."
What?
UNFI. If you read it, it looks like
Unfi.
Unfi or Unfi.
Right.
That's funny.
And just the way he said it too.
Yeah.
"I've got a couple of skids here from Unfi."
I love the ones that just kind of fake it too. They're hey, I got this and then they'll just say whatever they think it's pronounced, and they'll totally think that it's the right one, but they won't know. But you can tell that they won't know, but they're just confident. I'll be like, nice job. That's a good try.
Yep.
Well, some people say tomato, some people say Denzians.
That's true.
It's up to the eye of the beholder.
Yep. When I was a little kid, I used to think hyperbole was pronounced hyperbole.
Hyperbole, the hyperbole.
I heard a lot of people say that hyperbole.
And I used to, when I was like 10 years old, I used to think when I'd see the word determined, I used to pronounce it in my head as determined.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Determined.
I saw that when I was a kid.
I am very determined. Determination is something I look for in a partner.
Like Stephen Hawking in Sweden.
Is that what I sounded like?
Yeah.
I like determination.
Determination.
Well, skull to that. But yeah, so
I don't have a drink.
Yeah, sorry. What's going on here? Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
So Bob is like, funny. I've always known that too.
Yeah,
to
what does
Dot
that
being
mean?
Like, yeah, I don't know. She's
I just
like,
caught that.
yeah, she's like,
sorry, go on.
she's like the most like I said, she's the most put together character in Mainframe, and he makes this joke like, "Huh, I've always known you can't control yourself."
It's almost like one of those like women, right? type jokes.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
He
kind of the
looks
vibe
to the
that I'm getting
camera and
from
he's
it.
like, "Women, am I right?" And she
Yeah.
scowls at him.
Yeah.
Or this is what I thought. I thought she meant when it comes to him.
Oh,
Like, let's
maybe.
assume they have something going on off screen,
Whoa.
right?
Yeah.
Funny, I've always known that. She like scowls,
No.
right? She can't control herself.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you believe the theory that they're boinking on the side.
I don't think that's a theory. Okay.
Okay, moving on. I want that portal, Bob. I have other methods.
And he kind of directs the crusher over to his head. Yeah. The crusher hand
Yeah,
of the
the
exoskeleton.
crusher.
The crusher.
And he caves. He's like, "Yeah, I'll give it to you."
He's like, okay,
I'll give it to you.
I'll give it to you.
I'd like the look on his face when
Yeah, I
he says
know.
that.
Right? Yeah, I'll give it to you. You want it, Megabyte? Come and get it. Yeah, give me that ass.
I'll give it to you so hard.
Oh
And
my God.
some like so we cut to something ascending from the center of the room.
Yeah, and
Some
it's like a big D12.
it's not quite because it's almost because it does have what's a five-sided shape? What is that called? A pentagon?
Yes.
It does have a bunch of pentagons, but the middle are diamond shapes instead of it just. So it's not quite a because a normal D12 is a bunch of pentagons, but
okay.
this is something else because not all the sides look the same. Like
You know
the
what's
middle
funny?
ones are like, yeah.
You know what's funny is I have a dice case right in front of me, but no
Oh.
dice.
No dice.
Yeah, no dice.
Yeah, so it's not quite a dodecahedron, but it's
Oh shit!
it is close.
Bringing that up again.
Did I bring that up at one point?
You did, yeah.
Oh, the polyhedronal name of a D12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no dice, no dodecahedron, but inside is like, the fuck am I looking at? A whole bunch of red, like, energy rods,
And
Yeah.
a portal.
presumably holding up this perfectly spherical, like chrome reflective sphere, yeah, or rather not reflective. It's
a portal room. Yeah.
It's a portal, yeah. It's a portal to the
Generates
net.
Portals. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen
And-
portals in the show before.
Yeah.
We've seen portals, and remember, I pointed it out when on episode 1 of season 1 that he had a poster in his room, and it said "Home Sweet Home," and it showed the net, and there were 2 moons, a red moon and a blue moon. If you look closely at the sphere, the portal, you can actually see that there's a big blue moon and a big red moon
Huh.
in it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and Megabyte's like, it's beautiful. I don't know. It's just I see a lot of details. Most of the time, they're pointless, and I waste time. And I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was cool. But other times, I notice cool shit like moons. And
Yes.
Megabyte's in love with it, and he goes to kiss it.
See it now.
He goes to kiss it.
My glory.
Yeah, so he steps into the not D12 to step into the portal, and then Bob is like glitch whatever, or glitch lock or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I think it
what's
says
stopping
arm.
him from just
Oh.
jumping into it.
Glitch arm.
Yeah.
And Glitch flies over to the door of this portal room, and it shuts and locks, and the portal disappears.
Yep.
And
Right.
Megabyte's like, "The fuck you doing, bud?" And
You serious?
like-
Yeah.
Bob's like, "This is where the principal office breaks down viruses."
Yep.
And then Bob presses some buttons on Glitch, and a biohazard symbol appears, and then some energy starts attacking Megabyte.
Holds him. It suspends him.
Yeah,
And the
suspends him.
exoskeleton turns from metallic blue to yellow, so it's presumably cutting his tie to Dot.
Yeah.
So she regains control. And Megabyte's like, well, if I'm to go, I will take all of Mainframe with me. And he opens up a little panel on his forearm,
Like
which
the Predator.
which we've never seen him do. Yeah, just like Predator,
Yep.
which we've never seen him do. And he presses some buttons, and
He turns black.
he turns black and like goes into a Jesus Christ pose.
Thank you.
And Bob's like, oh shit, he's triggered
entered
a
self-destruct.
He's entered a self-destruct. We got to get him out of here.
So this is interesting. I thought he was still in control of Mainframe. That's why he was doing this, but this seems independent of that.
No, yeah, I think he triggered a self-destruct in himself.
In himself, yeah.
And because he's in the core, if he exploded in the core, it'll
destroy Mainframe.
Yeah.
So Bob yells, we have to eject him or he'll destroy all of us.
Yeah.
And so he presses Glitch, which turns into like a red button. And it just launches this like capsule, the not a D12, like straight out of the principal office through the ceiling, and like it flies
right back
all
to the
way.
Silicon Tor.
Yeah, good shot.
Conveniently.
And presumably, as the door opens up and like Megabyte like crawls out, he cancels the self destruct.
Yeah, because he doesn't blow up. He just reaches his arm out quite
forcefully.
In a very like kind of horror movie fashion.
Yeah, because you only see his arm.
Yeah, and he starts to pull himself out, and
so it's kind of like a nobody's really won in this scenario, because presumably once he was ejected, he was no longer in control of the erase procedure, and it reversed itself.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like deleting like this huge thing or downloading a huge thing and it tells you the percentage, because it just appears that Mainframe is fine now.
Yep. Yeah, everything goes back to normal, and
even the buildings that fell over right themselves.
Yeah.
Like one of the buildings just like pulls itself back up vertically.
Yeah. And the sky turns gold again, and the voice, the announcer voice is once again like, attention, incoming file.
No.
So this time it's the actual upgrade coming.
How did he hide in the first place?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering when I was watching this.
Because it descended from the sky.
Yeah. How did he pull this off?
Megabyte does some Megabyte bullshit.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we join our Bob and Dot kind of like looking proud up at the sky, and Fong pulls himself together.
Fong's all loopy.
Yeah, he's kind of drunk.
And he's kind of just bobbing around. Like he's high.
Yeah.
And he goes, maybe this time I'll get a new modem. And everybody laughs. And
everybody laughs.
And then directed by Zondag Entertainment.
Once again.
Mr. Zondag.
Good old Zondag. Good old Z-Man.
Fair Zondag.
Fair Zondag.
All right, so that has been in the first season. Here on Alphanumeric, we rate episodes of ReBoot on the alphanumeric scale, which is everything from
I don't think so.
I don't think so, which are basically episodes that suck.
This is bad, very bad.
It's
the worst,
bad.
Right? That's the worst.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
I gotta write this. I gotta write this shit down.
Don't worry,
we gotta write it down.
Here. We don't need to summarize it every time, but basically, it's like this. This is bad. Very bad is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
right?
And then I don't think so.
And then I don't think so. Like it's not offensive to your senses. It's not good, but it's not great. And that was easy enough. You know, like it was an okay episode. Didn't blow me away. And then we have Alphanumeric, which is like it's
Top
great.
shelf. Top shelf.
Top shelf.
Top shelf.
Who wants to start?
I will go first.
Okay.
Christopher.
I am rating this episode.
Go with your gut.
I have a feeling.
He's like, how bad?
All right, someone else take it while I decide.
Yeah, while you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm gonna give it a. That was easy enough.
Okay.
Because overall, yeah, I kind of like you know the new introduction, the new introduction to Mainframe. You know, better graphics, better. The script didn't blow me away, but I really did like how Megabyte. I really liked. I think the best part about this was how bad Megabyte was, and by bad I mean how well he was written. Because I like a good villain.
And by bad, I mean like bad in that 90s kind of way, which is
like
cool.
Real bad, which means good, but
Too
not
bad.
in a way that you should ask me about. Yeah.
I'm bad. Yeah.
I'm bad.
It does make him seem like a threat again, rather than this like I'll get you next time, gadget type
Bumbling
villain.
Buffoon. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That was easy
I
enough.
liked
go ahead.
the. Sorry, what?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I did like overall like what happens in the story, but no, the script didn't blow me away. It was more like those random the light switch thing, and then the random little blow that Bob does to the fourth wall, where he's kind of like women, right? That didn't seem necessary, and it kind of just killed the whole vibe because like what was happening was quite serious, and then
good point.
Bob was just kind of like, okay, that like grow up.
Sometimes
Time and
serious. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of good to break up super serious scenes in video games or movies or TV shows or whatever with comedy, but sometimes it takes away from whatever atmosphere you're going for to break it up like that, and that was ill-timed.
Yeah,
there's a time and a place for levity, and that was not it.
I think the idea was good, but I think the execution was bad. I think the line could have been something way different, and I think it was a bit of a reach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Christopher, have you ruminated upon the episode?
I'm giving it a very middle of the road. I don't think so. I like how the episode began. I thought it was a good way to reintroduce viewers to the world of Mainframe.
Yeah.
I like how Megabyte was reintroduced to the viewer. But overall, I felt this was a pretty just throwaway, kind of nothing episode beyond that.
Yeah, so it gets a I don't think so.
Yeah.
It gets a lower. That was easy enough for me. Like you said, it starts really strong, and there are good parts throughout it. How they catch him, like the ending's really good. Dot in the exoskeleton, even if it is a blatant like homage, rad. I like her Netrunner suit. I like her fighting him, right? But there's a lot of cud to chew throughout the whole episode, and like what does it lend other than screen time to have them running around dodging like energy pucks, right? To have him go and charge something, to have Dot wandering around on her own. There's a lot of like just kind of filler in the episode.
Also, this
felt
came
like
to me.
All the middle sucks.
This felt like a very long 22 minutes.
This just came to me.
The beginning and the end is great though.
What just came to you?
How did she get to Megabyte unnoticed wearing that?
That is a good fucking point.
Didn't hear
Like,
that
because
big
that
ass
was a huge
power
thing.
loader stomping around. Yeah,
That-
good point.
Yeah, and that was a huge thing in a large room with a very small door. So unless there was some ruckus, leading up to it, he's talking to Enzo, and I think that was a good reason to have him turn his back while she was able to get behind him with that huge.
And it's very
suit.
slow, and it makes a lot of sound.
Yeah,
Good
it's
point.
heavy.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's just
Yeah.
No, holes, digging holes. We were talking about that earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, for that, listeners, if you want to hear stories about that, check out this week's preamble.
Yeah.
We did get some listener engagement that I wanted to go over.
Oh, sweet.
On YouTube user Cone Killer Confusor mentioned in response to an older episode of this podcast now, the Medusa bug. He says, "Hey guys, I'm a little surprised there was no mention of the original alternate ending with the Medusa bug being released again. Sure, that was just to allow Mainframe a few extra weeks to finish the next episodes and allowed ABC to push their Power Rangers competitor, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad,
Oh my
but it
God,
was
I
such an
remember that.
interesting oddity." I remember that show too.
Yeah.
He
Well,
said it's an interesting
huh.
oddity?
Yeah.
Huh.
He does put a link to the original video, original ending that he was talking about. So check out the YouTube video for that episode if you want to check that out. Thank you, Cone Killer Confusor.
I
Yes,
didn't even know
um,
that existed.
Yeah, I didn't know that was
love
a thing
hearing.
either.
Yeah. I was not aware of an alternate ending.
He also made another comment just a couple days ago, actually, on our very alphanumeric Christmas video. He says, "I would absolutely be thrilled to be there for a War Planet / Shadow Raiders podcast."
Sweet. Yes.
And
So this guy and this guy only?
I will say exactly what I said on YouTube in response. See, the trick is we need to go even more obscure with our podcast than we already do.
Right.
That's how we bring the listeners in.
I can't remember. Aiden, did you ever watch that?
Shadow Raiders?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it enough to really but I do remember the show.
I caught it like an episode here or there, but didn't like watch it.
It
looked pretty sweet.
It's not available legally to watch on anything, so I don't normally condone piracy, but there is actually a pretty sweet torrent out there of the complete season that even has bonus features and scripts for every episode.
Whoa.
Fuck?
Yeah.
I wonder if you could find it on eBay.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, it would depend. It's probably one of those things, it pops up like a few times a year. Someone snatches it and disappears, right? Like whenever I have a friend that's like, "Oh, I wonder if I can find it on like this or on eBay." I'm always like, "Keep checking."
Yeah.
You never know. Because it's so rare that it's not like it'll be on at any given time, but just randomly somebody might clean out their attic and go, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
On that note, it's much a similar thing to what I sent you guys a photo of, what I recently bought on YouTube. But for the listeners, I was able to stumble across a Canadian-only DVD from Anchor Bay Entertainment of the 4th season of ReBoot in its original presentation in Canada as 2 TV movies.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was another thing. Like, it's a super rare out of print DVD, but I managed to stumble across it on eBay. So I snagged that for the purposes of this podcast when we get there.
Wow.
Sweet.
Right?
Good.
Yeah.
Where'd you find that?
eBay.
Huh. Just randomly happened to find it?
Yep. I'll I'll share some more details with you guys about that in the near future. We are running out of time though, so best way to support the show, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Helps us out with discoverability. Also, if you like listening to us, tell your friends. And if you don't like listening to us, tell your enemies.
Either way, we get ratings.
Either way, we win.
Yes.
Check out our website, www.alphanumericpodcast.ca. You may notice I recently rebranded the Facebook page. It is no longer strictly dedicated to ReBoot. It is now facebook.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. Reason why I did that was because I kind of want that to be the home for all of our various podcasts going forward. That way I don't need to make a new page for every single show that we end up doing.
Fair.
So check that out. On our website, you can find social media links to that Facebook page, links to the YouTube page, and a link to my Instagram, and contact info to send us an email, alphanumericpod@outlook.com. We will be back next week with the second episode of the second season, High Code.
Yes.
High code.
High code.
High code.
High code. It's high code.
Okay.
All right.
Mainframe we go.
All right, folks. Have a good night. And until next week.
Oh, I gotta come up with a one for season 2 now.
I've always wanted to do that.
That's a good one. Well, technically that's season 1, right? What did he say to Dot? Somehow I've always known. No, that doesn't fit.
No.
Women, huh? Am I right?
Well, I interpreted it that differently than you guys did. Exoskeletons. Bomb circuit.
Dot's got the power loader.
Matrix
what is
and the
it?
power
What is it?
loader.
Megabyte says when he descends into the.
Which
If
one?
it's cat and mouse, how about some cheese?
Pinnacle descent.
Like falling off an analog.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
you found yours.
I got
Yeah,
it.
there we go. All right, that does it.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Bye.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Alphanumeric.